Welcome to the Business Legends Podcast, where we interview business leaders and entrepreneurs so that you can learn from their mistakes, grow your own inspiration, and pump up your bottom line.
I'm Reese On, the host of the show, along with my co-host. He's somewhat decent. Christian Webb, CEO of Business Marketing Solutions Group. Say what's up.
Looking forward to learning some martial arts today.
Martial arts stuff. We're not going to bust out any karate whatsoever in the new ESPN recording studio. Let's not forget that we're accompanied by the greatest videographer on the planet, David Woodruff with Genesis Film. Make sure to show him some love after the cast. Today we are joined by Mr. JD, and he is the man, the myth, the legend. He has all sorts of different experiences working in logistics, and now he is the CEO of a new company that is Circle the Panda. Is that the correct name?
Circle the Panda.
Okay, fantastic. And he's going to talk all about it. So JD, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh no, thank you guys.
Yeah, it's a little different being in a different studio. You know, they switched it around on us and everything, but we're making do with the new space and everything. So let's start back at the beginning. How do we get to Circle the Panda? What is Circle the Panda? Tell us about your journey a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting you picked that one because there's, when you're a full-time entrepreneur, you can do multiple ones, which is part of the challenge. So we have a consulting group and then Circle the Panda and our own podcast. Mm-hmm. And but how that started with Circle the Panda, to answer your question there, was we were practicing martial arts, my son and I. And my son was 11 at the time and said, "Hey, Dad, let's start a business." And I said, well, okay, you're 11.
Yeah, a little early on that one, Jack, but we'll see.
Yeah, but I said, okay, the value of doing it and the value of going through it, you cannot put a price on that. So I said, sure, we'll do it. And we'll say, okay, now, if you're going to do it, it's going to have some degree of giving back.
Yeah.
That's what kind of gets you up at 3 a.m. Mm-hmm. If you don't have that purpose and that why, it fades. Yeah. So I said, son, we'll do it, but it has to be some degree of giving back. And just by sheer, how that happens sometimes. Circumstance. When you're kind of open to that, and we said, okay, we're not sure what we're going to do. He said, let's make it a mobile martial arts program. Mm-hmm. I said, okay. Yeah. Some degree of giving back.
Right.
Well, we're standing there cleaning up the dojo one day, and walks this family, brilliant family, beautiful blue-eyed boy who suffers from Dravet syndrome, which is a seizure-related syndrome. And they said, do you know anybody that does martial arts for special needs kids? And we went, no, we don't.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
Right.
I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I have to be hit with a brick.
Sure.
And I said, no, we don't. And then they left, and the next family came in wearing a T-shirt of a fundraiser for the same boy named Braxton Reed. Mm-hmm. They're cool. They're going to be on the podcast, so it's okay if I mention their name.
You can say their name.
I can say their name.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and they walked in with raise money for Braxton. And I was like, okay, that's odd. It's 15 minutes later. And they said, do you have anything for the special needs community? We went, no.
Yeah.
And then we get a call 2 days later, same question.
Yeah.
Do you have anything for the special needs community? And I got a phone call. I was working full-time someplace else at that moment. And they said, we got the third call. I think there's a magic in the number 3.
Yeah.
And they said, come down to this private lesson at lunchtime. And I sat down in front of this beautiful boy named Jake, who is a runner. Yeah. ADHD, and just runs around. And I looked at him and went, okay. Yeah. We have our program now.
The interest is there. You had it ahead of time.
Yeah, so that's how Circle the Panda started. And now it's just been 4 years of that, and we're in the process of expanding.
Yeah. So one of the things that we like to talk about on the show, especially, it's a lot easier to talk about after you've already kind of established and had your successes and failures and things like that. Given that it's martial arts and the nature of having special needs children and things like that, were you met with any specific challenges or people that said that these children have special needs, they'll hurt themselves, much like what happened with the Special Olympics and things like that?
Yes, we were. When we started it, one of people watching it said, what you have is, he called it beautiful chaos. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's face it, we didn't know what the heck we were doing. We had no idea, and that's kind of what you have to do. Yeah. You just have to just jump in and figure out your way. Yeah. And we were doing this on weekends part-time, and we just brought... We brought 5 special needs kids together, and if you guys have been around special needs community, you can imagine. Yeah. A couple of them were nonverbal. A couple of them just ran in circles, and we'd have one that would just lay on the floor. Yeah. And we said,
complete chaos.
Complete chaos.
Yeah.
But what started happening are 2 things. We had a board, and this is a good lesson for anybody starting something. We go, let's go to some people that know. Yeah. So we got some of the parents, and we said we want to form a board, and it was the parents of the special needs. And we went, okay, there's two things. There's one, we want you to coach us on how to do this. And she goes, okay, I'll coach you, but let me tell you what 90% of the issue is. She goes, it's love.
Yeah.
It's really 90% of the answer is love and paying attention to them, and the other 10% is knowing how.
Right.
That's one. And then we did it at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and I'm not sure how you guys were at that age, teenagers, but we look up, and all of a sudden we have 6 or 7 special needs kids, and we have 10 teenagers that are just showing up at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning to help.
Oh, wow.
And we were like, okay, well, there's something going on here. Let's lean into this and see where it takes us.
Yeah, it's such a tremendous story. It seems like some people are religious and they think that God calls them to do such things, and some people think it's a victim of circumstance where you had one sign, one question, one person says, do you do anything for special needs children, and then 15 minutes later a second, and then a day or two or whatever you said, a third type of thing. But sometimes it requires multiple forms of inspiration in order to kind of take action on these types of things. It's kind of interesting because Christian that's sitting across from me, if he's struck by an idea of inspiration, he's liable to just say yes immediately. And and my favorite Christian web quote in the world is, just say yes, figure out the details later. If you want to do it, just say yes and figure out the details later. So that's sounds kind of like what you did. Did you have any experience, just special needs children? I mean, you have, for example, special education teachers. Did you have any mentorship or experience working with special needs, or did it just call you to do that?
I had some previous experience, like in the Special Olympics, which is a great thing to be part of. And you can't do this now, but I was a hugger at the Special Olympics. Yeah, and
kind of sad, a lot of the new ways that we do things, and especially through COVID, wearing masks and stuff like that, and a lot of the new stuff is designed for people's safety and stuff. But at the same time, it's kind of sad that, being a hugger at the end of a race is something that you're not allowed to do.
It wasn't the athletes complaining about it.
Right.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
They were looking for the hugger at the end of the race.
Yeah. They're like, oh, I found JD.
Somebody that thought they knew better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of I don't know. I think it's a deep sadness. But so you had your Special Olympics experience, and that wasn't necessarily the moment that inspired you. It sounds like it was those people that came in asking if you could help them with their special needs situation and stuff, right?
Oh yeah. When you see how genuine, authentic they are, and just heartfelt. Yeah. And you don't always do things with the best of intentions. I certainly don't. Yeah. I mean, you think you do, but you just got to just jump in and do it. To use your point. Yeah. But when you're around them, we initially said, okay, we're going to be in this to try to help these kids. If we had one wish, what would it be? Yeah. And I said, if I could be granted one ability, what would that be? And I said, well, it would be the ability to heal these kids in some way, somehow, just help them. And then I realized early on that what was happening is they were actually healing us. Yeah. Because when you engage with them, they're genuine and authentic, which is very hard to get these days. There's no labels. Yeah. They don't see the barriers that so many of us see. All they want to do is, look, I'm here with you and you're here with me, and that's a cool thing to do.
Being in the moment is enough for them, so to speak.
Yes, but so the inspiration came from, I went, oh, okay, we're in this to do a business. We're in this to help them out. And I went, okay, well, for selfish reasons, I'm in this for us. And there's been several times where we've wanted to quit. I want to quit because it's extremely difficult. Yeah. So for anybody out there that's doing something with the special needs community, it's just hard to do. Yeah. You get a support group around you, like my 16-year-old son. Every time I go, son, I don't know about this. Not sure what we're doing. We're just showing up. He goes, I got news for you. You can stop if you want, but I'm going to go there every single Saturday. Wow. So the inspiration just came from working with him.
Yeah. That's such a tremendous story, and it's I don't know who said the quote or whatever, but they said sometimes showing up is just half the battle, just getting there.
So how many kids do you currently work with?
We paused it because of revamping it, but COVID.
And COVID, sure, yeah.
COVID is, heavens forbid that they should ever have to go to even the test. Right. Mm-hmm. So we're revamping it, but we had a group of 6 in a large group at once. Mm-hmm. We'd have 10 leadership people showing up, and then we also did private lessons. Yeah. So I would say a total of 10, but we were trying to cap the group because it's challenging to do it in a large group because if you don't get the mix right.
Yeah. I imagine it could be completely chaotic, just trying to figure out like the intermingling of all these different things. And that's why they're called special needs too, is because sometimes they might require more attention or less, more hands-on or less this or something like that.
Yeah, and we're going not just in martial arts, but other things. But we've had kids that run in circles, and then we've had some that just come lay on the floor.
Yeah.
And the parents are like, it doesn't make any difference. If they're laying on the floor, you can teach them something. They're just happy that people are working with them.
Yeah, happy that they're a part of the community and that type of thing. Do you think that obviously it depends person to person, but do you think that they catch a feeling, or do you think that they catch something that that they're different by and large, that they can't integrate in society the same way, or do you think that they're just happy to be there type of thing?
I think they're just happy. I'm not so sure they understand that. I don't know. We're going to change our team's determined to change the label from special needs to unique talents, which essentially we all have that.
Right.
But they have the ability to pick up on things that we don't. Yeah. And, I go back to the reasons for doing it. You go in, some days are just harder than others. And I went in there on a Saturday morning and just brought a lot of baggage with me, but was hiding it. Mm-hmm. Was just hiding it. You know how that is. You just show up and you hide it.
Yeah.
With this little boy that's never spoken before comes up, looks me right square in the eye and hugs me 3 times. It's like he recognized what it was that was lacking for me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then met the need.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure they understand.
Yeah. It's tremendous. And obviously, like I said, it depends person to person and need to need and, condition to condition and things like that. But it's something that, obviously we'll never have a succinct answer to, but it is interesting. And I've been watching this show that's very, very rated R, but it's on Netflix called Sense8. And essentially the show, it's about 8 different strangers in 8 different parts of the world that are undergoing different life circumstances, right? And you have one that's transvestite and a famous actor that's gay and a guy that's struggling in Nairobi, and they're just from all different parts of the world and experiencing the life condition in a different way, different countries, different cultures, different beliefs, different problems and stuff like that. And I always think that shows like that particularly have like a overwhelming, or I should say underwritten moral code to them or something. And essentially with a show like that, even though there's 8 different strangers that live in different life circumstances, they're all enduring a lot of different challenges at the same time. And I think about it like that, that even if you're in a different life circumstance, you are embracing different challenges and different things, no matter what your upbringing was, type of thing. So, so what's in the future for Circle the Panda? You said that you are wanting to change it from special needs to unique talents. You also said that you're going to do multiple businesses. So is Square the Panda come next or something, or Rectangle the Panda, or Triangle the Panda, or something? Just make a big conglomerate of different panda name businesses or something.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
That's
Panda Enterprises. It could be Panda Enterprises. There you go.
That's a great idea.
That's perfect.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
We hope one day that we change the view and that we have a business run that we help create that's run by a special needs adult. Yeah. It's just not a matter of when, not if.
Yeah.
But we're going to, it's an opportunity to bring these parents together and say, what's the community lacking?
Sure.
And it has a bit of a membership site. So we're bringing together fitness and nutrition, arts, painting, martial arts. And I'm not teaching martial arts anymore.
Yeah.
I just realized that that's not really my skill set. I don't want to do it in the first place. I just want to hang out with them.
Yeah.
I'd rather paint with them than that. But what we'll do is we're going to bring different specialists together and create a membership site.
Oh, wow.
So that they have this, so they can work on it at home, because a lot of the parents say, okay, it's great you're doing it in person, but we want to do it with our kids.
Yeah.
And the real dynamics is doing it with the kids or the family members. But it's also going to have that degree of, hey, we've got a community now. What's lacking?
Yeah.
I can see that going virtual very easily.
Yeah, what's lacking, and we'll go, what's lacking, and we'll have this feedback loop, and they'll go, hey, why don't you develop this? And we'll go, and we'll do the old, you guys know that, like jumping in with a yes.
Yeah, yeah, Christian knows that very well.
We'll calculate the risk of doing it and the cost of doing it and go, okay, is it worth a try? Let's go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that community... there's compassion that we have for them, I would say that, but that's not the big thing. They're an overlooked asset that we're walking right by, and no one's saying, there's a valuable asset right there if we just give them a chance.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the perception surrounding special needs adults particularly is kind of that of like old folks that are in nursing homes with dementia or something like that, where they don't have the same level of being able to contribute to society. You can't get a 105-year-old man to bench press 400 pounds or anything like that. But I totally agree with you. I think that there's an asset portion of this where maybe it's just by expanding the view, or better than anybody how much special needs folks just love one another and they're happy to be in a circumstance. God knows, maybe in our current situation with all the rioting and protesting, that's exactly what we do need, type of thing.
Exactly. It goes back to what I said about the labels. They don't see the labels.
Yeah.
And I was interviewing somebody the other day that wrote a book, and he you hear like the third, the three times, the magic in the number 3.
Right.
And he goes, what if we remove the labels? What if they don't see the labels? What if more of us said, I don't see any labels? I'm not going to mention labels because I don't want to turn this into a political thing.
You can say what you want. This is Business Legends, baby.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. Special needs folks, they don't see black or white. They don't see Republican or Democrat. They don't see stupid or smart. They don't see things like that. They just see person.
They don't see handsome or kind of handsome.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, they can't see that because you guys got that going on.
You notice how he pointed at you when he said unfortunately. He said unfortunately and pointed at Christian. I just want everybody on camera to know that he pointed at Christian and said unfortunately.
I did.
So.
Can't say.
It's actually already on camera.
Perfect. Love it. So that's just tremendous, man. I could see just kind of spark of inspiration, if you will, but I could really see how you could essentially develop maybe a program, or like you said, your online community, and maybe have almost like training modules online or something like that.
That's what it is.
And have like you said that there's multiple different facets. So of course some have talent in art and some have talent. I've seen lots of talent, particularly around the autistic community with music, and some have skills in theater and so on and so forth. But maybe there could be like a module-based training system for families. I think that there's an underwhelming amount of resources for parents with special needs children out there. So,
you got it. That's exactly one of the things we're going to add in there.
Yeah. So, man, it's just a tremendous endeavor. We wish you all the best with that. It's it's definitely going to be a hard road to climb. What do you think? So, you have this vision of getting a business that's run by special needs adult. What type of business do you foresee that occurring with? What do you feel that they you can achieve with that, or have you given that much thought?
What kind of business?
Yeah,
I think it's gonna come out of what is the need, and that's like anything that you do when you jump into the S. You say, okay, what's the need?
Sure.
And I keep quoting you that because I love that. Sometimes you just have to go, okay, I'm just going to jump in and see where it takes me.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come out. The group's going to say, here's a need that we have. It could be a product, could be a service, and then we're going to go, all right, now we have a support group. Because anything you start, if you don't have a support group, like if you don't have a supportive spouse or a family member, good luck.
Right.
You can make that jump into full-time entrepreneurship or anything that you're trying to change. If you don't have a group saying, I'm here with you, I got my arm around you, good luck.
Yeah.
So we'll have a group, we'll have a network of saying, okay, well, here's somebody that's skilled at that.
Yeah.
They have a unique talent. We're going to support them.
Yeah.
So I don't know that yet. I think it's going to surface.
You're gonna try to fulfill the need.
It's hard to imagine. I'm trying to imagine if I was like the parent of a teenager with special needs. I bet if you build a model to where I could buy into my son or my daughter's franchise, and then they own like 30% of it while somebody else owns 70% and helping them manage it, or maybe like 50-50 or something. I think I would strike a check for that.
Oh, yeah.
My kid's never had anything like material in his life because nobody trusts him with anything, and then all of a sudden there's a franchise that comes along that's built for only a special needs business owner. That'd be really cool.
That's right. And if there's a group that's going to help them, a lot of the parents are afraid. I mean, I don't have a special needs kids because I can't totally walk in their shoes.
Right.
But you can imagine what's going to happen with my kids if it usually happens where their adults pass away first.
Yeah.
So they're going like, okay, now what happens? So there's that level of fear, but have that group around them that's going to support them. Mm-hmm. And even when we go back to unique talents, we're talking about editing podcasts and editing stuff. Look, some of them are absolutely so great at details. Mm-hmm. I don't know about you guys, I am terrible at details.
Yeah, we are too. Christian actually has an expression for that. He calls it broad strokes. He broad strokes everything. Like you'll never get specific details out of Christian Webb. He just covers the bases on everything.
That's why I have everybody in the right place.
Yeah.
That's the key. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
So you just toss it out there and say you got 80-20. Mm-hmm. Do you even give 80? Like, I'm going to give you 80% of it and y'all clean up?
No.
Oh, that's more like a 40. It's more like a 40.
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. Christian puts out this idea into the ethers. It's about 5% of an idea. And he'll say, here you go, Reese. And then he'll call me about 2 days later and he'll say, why isn't this done? And I'll be like, what?
All right.
That's our business relationship.
What's funny is it gets done.
It gets done. It gets done at the last second, mind you, because I'm a procrastinator. I'll take myself down here too. But I have something to do tomorrow.
I usually come with an idea plus a group meeting where we put together 5 to 10 broad stroke steps.
Yep. BSS, if you will.
So then it's like attack.
So you like throw it against the wall and see what sticks?
Yeah.
Type thing?
It almost always sticks, man. Like, I hate the fact that everybody thinks they have to know everything. It's so silly. Mm-hmm. Because all the like Harvard experts and everybody who's like known as the best at this one thing sucked at it at one time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The person with the most knowledge in the world started with none.
I think it's an ego thing. And that's something that I've had to learn managing businesses and stuff is, having the, accepting the things that I'm not good at, and I hate that. We're all driven by ego, at least to some extent. And just the fact that, for example, I know that if I was responsible for our graphic design, I guarantee you would go under. I guarantee you, because when I create graphic art, it looks like, the worst stick figures. How can you mess up a stick figure? I'll tell you how. Get Reese to do it. So it's just the concept. But it's funny. Christian and I don't even remember what movie this was. I wish I did, but probably it's been like 2 years ago. Kind of probably when I first joined Business Marketing Solutions Group, and we're watching some movie, and this guy. It might have been Tommy Boy, now that I think about it. I'm not sure. But anyways, this guy's like, yeah, I'm the idea man. I got all the ideas. He fulfills the ideas. And then Christian looks over at me. He's like, he was super pumped. He's like, it's us, bro. It's us. And I'm like, oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, man, lots of tremendous opportunities with this stuff. I definitely think that there's a lot of resource development that needs to occur with all this stuff. I before this podcast, I shared the fact that I have a very close family friend with Down syndrome, and he's now 35 years old. And his family, it's not that they struggle with positioning him in a place in modern society or something, but it is that there's just a lack of resources, a lack of things to do. So, I definitely think you're on the right footing to definitely begin something with this stuff.
Yeah, and I'm repeating this from earlier, but it's the value that they offer. Mm-hmm. They offer great value to the world if we did more of us just say, let's learn that unique talent that you have and see what we can do.
Yeah, it's interesting. As I'm sitting here talking to you, I just remembered a story about him. So his name's Brad. I shared with you before the podcast that my mother was the first person that ever held me, and then Brad was the second. So Brad has Down syndrome, family friend, and literally known him my whole life. It's almost like I have a big brother that has Down syndrome. And Brad was able to be placed in a program where he was like a bagger at Harris Teeter. Now, one thing you got to know about Brad is that he's the happiest, most energetic person you've ever met in your entire life. He's happier than I've ever been. He's more energetic than I've ever been. So, he defines special needs because he's happy and very energetic. And so he was a bagger at Harris Teeter. And, he's like crazy person. He'd be like, oh, yeah, we get these groceries on. And I'm not making fun of him. I'm telling you, that's who he is as a person. And then all of a sudden, I distinctly remember that Harris Teeter, all of a sudden you had more and more people that were showing up, Monday through Thursday between the hours of 9 and 12 when Brad was working or something like that. Go figure. Talk about an underutilized or resource for business. So it's definitely a tremendous thing. Man, it sounds like you got a lot on your hands here. Tell me what else is going on with your business. I mean, do you guys have any other aspirations, or is that kind of the bulk of it, trying to develop resources for families and stuff like that?
Well, it's balancing it out. We have a consulting business as well, and then we have our own podcast. And the key to that is blending them and using the same group of support people.
Yeah.
So we're balancing it out, but we're considering right now making it road trips out of it.
Yeah, that's road trips out of the whole thing, or out of the podcast, or
the blend it. If you guys know, if you're trying to do multiple things, you hear a lot of entrepreneurs that they just tap out and give up.
Sure.
And because they go, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So they got to divide up and find the right support group. So what we've done is we're considering at this point, I think it's a pretty good chance that we'll buy a pull behind camper, and put a podcast studio in it, and then go out to people that do pretty cool things in the special needs community.
Yeah.
And show up outside and let's highlight it.
Yeah, man, I think that'd be super cool. I mean, talk about convenience. It's like, hey, do you want a podcast? Where? Come on back.
We're here.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're already here. You better get ready to talk, man. Get your coffee on, whatever you got to do. That's such a fantastic idea. I've never seen anybody do it, but I definitely think it could be done.
On our side, we can get like a huge camper, and then it says CEO's coffee room.
That's it.
Or a coffee break, and then we literally park it right outside.
Here's the 5% right here. Here's the 5%.
You really should.
He's throwing out the 5%.
How brilliant would that be?
Yeah, dude, that would be sweet.
Yeah.
Like, you can make it. Oh God, we got to stop talking about this. This is gonna get really out of hand really quick. I promise.
This is next step.
Next step.
There's one. There you go.
There it is, man. It's the problem. It's not a problem. It's almost like a competitive advantage. We always think and talk about that in the marketing world, but a Christian and I's competitive advantage is that we've been best friends for 10 years. And so, I mean, we rag on each other. We're meaner than hell to each other. I pranked him yesterday. I tinfoiled everything.
Tinfoiled my entire office.
Babe, I got to show you a photo of that, by the way.
Prank that he has no clue what I'm
doing. I'm not pumped up about it. But we prank each other all the time. We set a terrible example for our employees for that. But it's interesting because our employees, they came from another business with me. So they worked for me in the other business. And then, I mean, it's something that I'm quite proud of, is that they chose to follow me into a new one, And so I have the same team, and at this point, they're more like family than anything else, So it's a very blessed circumstance. It's a great situation to work in. Great environment outside of when I come into my office and my favorite prank. I don't know why this is, but one time I came into my office and I had a lot to do. It was like I had like 12 hours of work.
His chair was hanging out the window.
It was hanging out the window. So he put the wheels and he locked it in the window. And I don't know why, but it took me completely out of my element. But I went from stressed out of having 20 hours of work to do in 6 hours to everything. And it's stuff like that. I talk about corporate culture. I've talked about that in a lot of other of these podcasts and stuff. But having a unique and encouraging, positive corporate culture is something that I firmly and totally believe in. Giving people the opportunities. You mentioned. One thing that I wanted to mention too is that you were talking about having a support network, having the right people in the right places and that type of thing. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I follow him, and he's a little bit of a role model in many ways. But one of his greatest speeches, he said, always remember that no matter how far you've come, you never got there by yourself.
Oh,
You never. It doesn't matter if you were born in poverty or a rich family. It doesn't matter if you were an orphan immigrant, or if you were, an immigrant that came from Austria that had a dream of bodybuilding. You didn't get there by yourself, And it's something where sometimes I think we could do good to always remember that.
Oh, for sure. And the money profit's good. Let me say we got to have vendors and support groups in this thing, in the consulting and in Circle of Panda.
Yeah.
And I have every intention to do all I can to make them wealthy.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah.
You get the same group around you, you care for them, and you go, okay, I'd rather see you succeed than myself. Mm-hmm. And he's right on the money with that. That's one of the things that sets you apart.
Mm-hmm. One of the things, Christian and David were both in BNI, and one of the big BNI is a business networking group, and one of the big foundations of BNI is giver's gain. So they always talk about the more you give, the more you get, but never expect to get, always expect to give type of thing. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that if you wish good and better success upon your fellow man, and it'll come back. So, Well, JD, thank you so much for joining us today. You have a wonderful story, an inspiring story. I really don't have any funny questions. I always can't get them. Hang on, give us just a minute. So we always like to close out with a funny question. I just don't. I'm at a total complete loss for any type of funny question that I could do.
Yeah, I don't have one either.
Man,
wow.
I don't know. We're at a blank. Can you think of a funny question? You can ask us a funny question. What do you think?
We'll mix it up.
I don't know, a funny question.
Yeah.
No, although I got to ask about the beard thing.
The beard thing?
Is it a requirement where you guys work to
Okay.
wear the same beard? Because y'all both like have the same cut of beard.
It's so funny. I just started doing CrossFit, and it is on audio recording that yes, I started doing CrossFit despite being CrossFit's largest enemy.
It took me 4.5 years.
It took him 4.5 years of begging and pleading with me to do CrossFit, but
it was more like calling you weak and small.
Weak and small, and then I was riding my Peloton bike, and he was saying how I have Peloton arms now. It's just a long story, but anyways, so I swear to God, this is true. So first off, everybody at the gym, they're like, "Are y'all brothers?" I swear,
4 times.
Yeah, we've been asked that 4 times in the last week. I'm not exaggerating. 4 times, 4 different people, 4 different.
I don't even see it.
I don't see it. They say that we have similar, because everybody said this. They say that we have similar speech patterns or something, but I don't know. I don't hear it. I don't see it. But it's like you start to meld with people that you're around.
Yeah, you look and act like brothers.
See, everybody says that. But okay, so the beard thing. I'll close out with this because I just will. But so, I've tried to grow a beard out in the past. Now, the first beard I tried to grow out was when I was about 20 years old. And I'm telling you, my beard was that color. So it's the brightest fire engine truck red that it could possibly be, right? And so it looked really bad. My dad called me Firebeard, and as soon as he started that shave, it was done. I was done with that. So later on in life, I'm about 30 at the time. Actually, I was 30 at the time. I see this commercial, and anybody that knows me knows that I have an unhealthy fascination with Vikings. I love them. I love everything Vikings and axes and pillage and plundering and Vikings. I love the show. I love everything Viking. And so this commercial is from a company called The Beard Struggle. So you have to look that up, The Beard Struggle. And it's this video of this super swole Viking, and it has this great voiceover, and it says, "Goodbye, my love. He cannot say it. But what he can do," and you see this Viking come back around, "but what he can do is give her a single strand of hair plucked from his ferocious face. Don't you want a beard too?" And so from that moment on, I grew a beard out. I swear to God, that's completely true. So,
yeah.
It is what it is.
It makes sense now.
So JD, let's say somebody wants to get involved with Circle the Panda. How could they get a hold of you?
Okay. We do host podcasts. The only reason I say that is because the podcast is changing in season 3.
Sure.
In that you're going to see the two blend. Because of the story. But they can send me an email directly at jd@circlethepanda.com.
Okay.
And they can hear the story play out itself on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because as you guys said earlier, it's, as we said before we came in here, it's telling of the story that makes a difference. But send me an email directly at jd@circlethepanda.com. The website's under construction, probably again.
Yeah.
We closed it down to redo it.
Yeah, we've been through that.
Yeah. And we plan to launch it in August.
Okay, fantastic. JD, thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay, thank you.